Welcome everybody, episode 20 of the Training121 PODCAST. Again, I'm just going to say we've seen a huge uptake in our followers and subscribers across YouTube and also Instagram. We actually hit 100,000 followers, so thank you very much to all of our community. If this is your first touch point with us, I hope you enjoy. I would recommend looking at a couple of the other podcasts from this new studio because we do have a couple of segments and a couple of introduction pieces onto interviews from myself and Gary so far. But today's topic is actually another Q&A, which is back from popular demand across all of our social channels. They come in a wide variety of different types of questions, either football, some are life-based, and then some are just general Bronson, aren't they? But without further ado...
Delighted Bronson made its way onto the podcast. I'm so happy. Right. Yeah. Oh, no, who's your man? Let's go.
Let's go. This is a current player, because I have to specify. The next one isn't. But the first piece of information is that he skipped the Real Sociedad second team and went straight to the first team.
What?
He was like he.
Does that mean he was
That's Silva.
No.
Does that mean he was in the academy and he skipped?
Yeah, like he never did the
whole.
whole like second team thing. He was just straight up to the first team at whatever age.
Currently playing. I don't know if this fella's retired, so I don't want to.
Oh, Boston! That Silva's not even playing anymore.
They literally played against United like a month ago.
And he won. Do you remember?
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know how you have a point in this game. Your knowledge is actually so bad for football.
You got on a rumor, didn't you?
Yeah, and a good one. That was tough. I don't even know if he's playing or if he's involved with Sociedad. I'm gonna say Nacho Monreal.
No, but I feel like he could have been there maybe. But no, it's not him.
So strange. Such a. When I think of the kid, I think of that.
I could see him in the blue and the white. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Who else played for Real Sociedad? I'm on the blank.
Do you remember Adnan Llanos like played for them?
Moyes.
That was
Remember Moyes managed them?
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Good ball. When he was on his blow, he was good.
Who is your man? What's the name?
For the first, is this the first time getting a second piece of information?
This is the second time we've done
Okay. He scored the first goal from a penalty that was decided by VAR at a World Cup.
That's a great clue.
So
When was the first VAR? 2020?
He's obviously Spanish.
World Cup, it would have been 28. I think it was 2018 World Cup.
He would have been Spanish. I would say if he was in Sociedad in the academy.
When you give us the country, he
No!
He's an attacker if he's taking penalties.
He's a what?
For you.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Or no, he didn't. He took the VAR penalty, or he was.
Like he scored the
So
he scored the first goal from a penalty, so
Oh,
it was the first one of that World Cup, but it's the first one ever. Sorry, I was speaking to the question instead.
So he took the penalty. Yeah, he took the penalty.
Like what countries, Jesus?
I think you've narrowed down to Spain as a
I'm
good
having a
show.
blank on Spanish.
I think it's too obvious in Spain. Well, may as well just guess the Spanish player, then.
I can't think of a Spanish. This is the Silent Podcast. I just don't think for a while.
I'm going to say... Morata.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
actually
It's
not
not him.
Guess. I don't think he
That's who I would have guessed.
I was
From
going to say,
the
I don't think this fella's retired. It's not my guess. Oh, well, it is my guess because I don't know anyone else. I was going to say Cazorla. Santi Cazorla.
Yeah. Is he retired now?
I think he is.
It's not him though.
It's definitely someone you'd like.
That was a
Daniel Olmo or whatever his name
No.
is.
Is he not really young?
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
you want the next?
Be old.
No, it's perfect.
One
Give us
thing
the line,
every
give us the line.
podcast.
Well, he said, is he not really young? So I'm blaming him.
I was saying, but I just meant that I don't think he would have been at the last World Cup.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd say
Saka wasn't established enough to take the penalty in the Euro.
I was.
it's next clue.
So the final clue is that he's the third highest scorer for France, and he's 9 behind Henri. 9 behind Henri. But he said, yeah, because he said it. Why'd you shout it?
Third most.
Third highest scorer for France, 9 behind Henri.
So whoever's watching this is gonna...
Griezmann!
Yeah.
Yes! Come on!
I thought he was at Sociedad for years.
Yeah! Because he couldn't get a kick in France. His dad moved him over to Spain.
His dad was his dad was some sort of athlete as well, I think. But
Lads, 2 on the board, and you're talking smack all the time. Please,
Them
man.
clues are deadly to not make that obvious.
I'm actually freaked that you got
Yeah, no, that was good. I am. Stud.
That's a long correction, by the way.
Lads, give me the credit.
Very good. Very good. I'm sickened that I was nowhere near it. I was looking at the thing actually about Griezmann earlier because he signed for Atletico, didn't he? Like officially today.
Oh, did you?
God damn
A few
it!
days
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
yeah.
The problem is.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
That was a mad situation.
Gee, congratulations.
Give me a clap.
It's a bit of a sour one, to be honest with you. I'm good. I didn't.
I'm competing here. You all wrote me off.
That 2-1.
You're winning. You're not just competing, you're winning.
Nice.
Jacob, before we get into the Q&A part, my mates love you. So many the freestyle one with me, I forgot about freestyle, you were like,
That's because you were talking about like your life story, and I was like, I thought it was like a hidden talent.
yeah, come up from last week as well, it was gas. Was you at a cook or be cooked for? Well, that's on.
That's obviously.
Yeah, that one.
You see, his hands is.
Anyone I spoke to agreed with me on that one as well.
No,
What's your
that
idea?
is-
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. G just likes.
Oh, Kinger's a great addition.
You need to pull up that clip for everyone to see.
We need to do a whole blooper thing. Purely, not even a blooper, just a funny gag reel. Like man, the Tyrone Mings one. I need to rewatch it again. Don't think I've ever laughed as hard in my life when I was watching you do it.
Yeah, it's
we're
so
speaking,
funny.
no joke, and we need to put a timer on it. Where we're talking about Mings for like 2 minutes straight, and then you hear it. It's obviously you're not thinking, or you are thinking, you're overthinking, but you're not listening to what we're saying. And it gets to a stage where it comes up like one of us says Mings really clearly. You go, Mings, that's not a bad shout. And we're after slating them for the whole 2 minutes, and you're like, you can see the trigger, the light bulb go
We
off.
didn't call it though originally.
Yeah, we didn't copy it when he was doing it, but when you
it's
rewatch the
so
footage,
funny.
it's absolutely hilarious. Right, we'll get into it, will we? So yeah, thank you for the questions. Some good ones in here. We'll try and get through as many as we can. There is a long enough list. We don't want the podcast to go on for too long now. Let's jump into it. We'll do the first one about us, because why not? Are we going to move outside of Kildare, venue-wise?
Well, that process has already started. We've had a lot of demand for closer to the Dublin area. I think just primarily because when our Facebook ads go out or anything on our targeted marketing, a lot of it is targeted at the Leinster area, and I find that a lot of parents that come in are either from like North Dublin or South Dublin, and they find it difficult to get across the M50 for traffic. So we are definitely looking at a Dublin venue at the minute. It's in early days, but we're hoping for late Q4 or early 2023. But from there, once you get the first venue outside of where you're comfortable, I think it's going to scale pretty quickly from what we have in terms of the plans. So if there's any place in Ireland in particular that people will be interested in seeing a Training121 venue, then please drop it in the comments.
Yes, sir. That's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
What do you, or
Expanding.
where if you had to pick any country in the world right now, like,
Great
where would
question.
you put a venue for Training121?
it's a great question.
North Korea.
Oh, what an addition.
You know the Tokyo FIFA Street Arena? No,
Oh!
on top of it.
Imagine the lads up there.
Oh, that's where I'm putting it. Or actually the real FIFA arena. You know the arena in FIFA 11?
Oh,
With Rooney, or Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
One of
Yeah.
them. One of them.
That'd be sick.
They're my choices.
That'd be sick.
Both fictional.
Yeah, they don't exist, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good answer.
That'd be really good. I think Switzerland would be class.
Why?
Just that whole, I don't know. I have this pull to Switzerland or like Italy, like either real like hard culture places. That'd be really cool. I don't know why I'm just getting pulled to Switzerland and Italy. The first two countries I think of.
They surely would have to be English speaking or very
would help.
comfortable speaking English. Like.
I'm guessing Switzerland are.
I think the vast majority of European countries actually are. You go to other countries, or even where people come
I'm
here.
not sure about Italy now. I think maybe the main places in Italy like Rome and Milan and all those sorts of places.
Yeah, but that's where you'd be hidden, wouldn't it? Really.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah.
We asked Daly, you never give Daly a chance to answer. What's your
Can you
pick?
tell-
Because
can
you're
you
really
tell-
audacious.
And can you tell the crowd about your Turkish football in the mornings?
So funny.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll answer the question first.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't even know. Please go Spain or something. I don't even know why. Spain. Culture, food, warm. Nice language.
Spain.
Food.
Warm.
Warm? Yeah, I'm not even hot warm.
My Kinger's Alice Ferguson legacy trophies. Oh yeah, on that story, I'll keep it brief as I can. So I was staying over there for holidays, and obviously it's a really warm country. So when they play football, they play at like 2 in the morning, like 5-a-side. And a lot of lads in the restaurant, they play against another restaurant. So basically, I met these lads at like 12:30 at night, as they were all finishing up their shift, waiting for the actual chef to finish up. All of us hop in the car, one of the boys drives like 20 minutes out of the town to this place, and it's just like middle of nowhere, 3 astro pitches, outrageous, like surface on them, and there's like inside there's like a seating area with loads of pool tables and all this, and then outside just people sitting chilling around. I think I played from like 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and it's still like 24 degrees. I was pumping sweat.
What age are you?
2019, so what? 24, 25, 24?
It is prime.
Did they know you played from an out? Did you tell them?
No, they were so erratic. That was Jesus Christ. Like, there's
Like
one
bad
man who like,
boys.
yeah, there's one man who like kept booting off cage and like running and like heading it on his face in his own second ball. It was madness.
Fight atmosphere.
Oh, stop that, yeah. Yeah, it was like weirdly bigger than the pitches we have now, and the roof on it was like there was a. You know, like there's not a roof on a lot of fights, so the roof on it was like
netted roof.
Yeah.
No,
big in
no, it was fully caged. I think it was a proper cage.
That's mad.
I think.
It's like a bird cage.
Yeah.
Every half an hour, someone else just drops in from above. Overloads.
King of the Ring and bleeding WWE.
Yeah. That's what I say. Royal Rumble. Do you remember?
Did you say Royal Rumble? I
Yeah,
didn't.
no, but sorry, Royal Rumble is when everyone runs in, but there is that one where you fight for that.
Oh, the belt.
It's a briefcase.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
ladder
It's
match.
a ladder match. It's a ladder match. Because you climb the ladder and then you pull it down.
Yeah, but there's a huge cage that goes around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Hell in a Cell.
Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
WWE
Oh my
was legal,
man, you should
but-
say that for a cell bridge. Hell
Hell in the Cell. Oh, Friday. Actually, anyone in our senior group, and we're going to invite a couple. You need to be around. You will be around off season. You need to be around. Finn, you're going to be drafted in, and we'll get Tim back. We'll fly him back from Vietnam. Get Training goals again. 6v6. Hell in the Cell. T121 versus all the
King
clients.
wasn't there last year.
Yeah, exactly. Kinga, pin and spin. That's your job.
Really lost one goal. King Campbell
Yeah,
scored.
Wezo, yeah.
Yeah.
Neck.
Yeah,
Neck.
that
We
was
competed
great.
well. Competed well.
Yeah, I'd say we
If
did.
they don't beat
good
us,
stuff.
they need to get their act
We're
together.
seasoned veterans now at this stage.
Very much so.
Going back to the question though, the plans are in the works for a Dublin venue at the moment.
We went
it's being
severely off topic.
Oh, it's not funny. We're talking about our perfect place
All
for
around the world.
I didn't pick one.
What would it be?
I actually have no idea. I'd somewhere European, like a Scandinavian country or something. I think would be interesting.
Ooh, right. I would love to. I want to go to a Scandinavian country now next year. Definitely.
Which one?
I don't know. Sweden or Denmark?
I want to go to Denmark as well. Yeah.
I'd say.
I think he was talking about doing it, going to Copenhagen or something.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Have you gone to Sweden? No?
Stockholm's very popular these days, isn't it? I see lots of people going there.
Mm.
Sweden.
I think
Nice
class.
place.
Yeah, it's so different. No one ever goes there. So I don't know.
Laura's family are she's cousins. In
That's
Mama.
where I saw the
Ah,
connection.
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
That's what it's last time.
Which is nice.
Get yourself
Oh,
in
yeah.
around the mix there. Go listen. There you go. Stockholm.
I'll go with the
On
suitcase.
days. Well, I'll tell you what, good option. Stockholm or 5-a-sides of Turkey. I'll take either.
Yeah, that is fair.
Straight back to it. Right. A very good question. Does your choice of boots really make a difference?
I had a conversation with Ben Lynch on the weekend. Plays for Longford Town, left full. He bought a new pair of studs playing away in Cove, so the pitch was in bits. Decided not to wear the studs because he didn't want to break in the boots for the first time. But this is the difference between wearing a good pair of boots and not a good pair of boots. He's wearing moldies, and he's saying some fella was backing into him, went to jump for a header, lost his footing, headed the ball, but instead of clearing it there, he headed 20 yards backwards because of a unplanted foot. So talking about the difference between boots, 100% it makes a difference.
Definitely soft ground and
Yeah.
firm ground makes a huge difference.
Is that kind of quite
I think it's more so
The-
like Adidas versus Nike or like
Oh.
a Predator versus
Or
a
a
Covet. Do you know
centre
what I
half
mean?
wearing, like,
Yeah,
pink
whatever you're
materials.
into. Like for me personally, yeah, not having it. Unless they're modern day TFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
That is the centre half boot.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
one
that'll
that's-
play. Even though it's pink, it'll play. For me, I think where I take that from, you definitely need to be comfortable in boots. So you need to
Yeah.
first of all think, right, do these actually suit me? So some players I know would be a certain size, but they'll wear 0.5 too small because they really want the boots tight, and then they'll like loosen them. And then some will want a little bit of space because they'll wear 2 or 3 layers of socks. Depends on your preference, especially when you're playing games. I know training can be a little bit different. But for me, I think comfort is king. I'm obviously strictly Nike. Every single podcast, I don't think I've worn anything else bar Nike because I don't have anything else. So obviously, boots is the exact same for me. Although, remember the Under Armour boots and all I used to have back in the day?
They were nice.
Very nice, yeah, very nice. I actually went through a phase of liking them, but they're so difficult to find. So I just, Nike's my go-to anyway. But yeah, comfort I think is king.
Question on everybody.
Yeah.
Like you said there, where you wear double socks, or did anyone, like I used to wear 2 pairs of socks. Like I'd wear a pair of these and then football socks over them. Like some of my boots were really tight. I don't know if they want weird like that with
So
them.
even with shin guards, I never wore shin guards. I used to cut my insole. So I take the insole out of my boot, cut it in half, and then I put it in instead of shin guards, and they would just feel like socks.
That's crazy.
So they're just the most ineffective shin guards ever, because they're not even shin guards.
What was some fellas came through the shin again?
No, too quick. No, I never actually got it. I never got a kick. When I said that, never got a kick in the shins.
It's funny, you wear shin guards, yeah. I've never been like, oh, thank God I was wearing shin guards there.
Oh, I've got a few.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't. The worst thing, you know when you wear a pair with studs, when you're wearing studs and you clip your own shin. You ever do that when you're passing the ball?
Stop.
And you
Like
just
there.
about graze it?
Yeah, or ankle, the inside of your ankle.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's one of the worst pains you can imagine.
I could
I
boots
wear
though.
2 pairs of socks.
Yeah. Back to boots, like obviously brand is more personal preference, and then obviously like you did a pitch one.
Yeah, I think it's the same as boots are the same as like luxury watches and rings and stuff, or cars. It's like people want to wear a pair of boots because not maybe like a pro's wearing it, but they get like you wear a pair of Coppas, people think like you're like, oh, like he's real like edgy and cool, yeah, real hard man. Who gives a shit? Wear boots.
I think you're
they're
right.
comfortable, you know.
Although that's how they market it though, and it works like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just people in society fall into that trap really.
If you're now in fairness though, there is some rugby ones. Like if you're a centre half wearing those new yellow mercurials, you're like, oh man.
But
Who
that's
do you think you are?
yeah, but why? Because that's the only that's
the thing.
you
It's the
are
way the brand.
marketing
I know.
ploy.
That's what I'm saying though. The like, but some of it you're.
You feel faster in the brighter ones as well. I think you do feel
That's all.
you do feel faster. You do.
But
If you
then
look
that's
at
the
your feet-
marketing. That's
If
the
you look at
marketing.
your feet and you have a pair of Copas on, you know you're not up to
You're
much.
trailing minus
Yeah.
5. Yeah, you're
Like, definitely. It's not up to much, but you know you're not going to get you on it all sorts.
No, but now that I'm thinking about it, because I used to be like, oh, I have to wear black boots if I'm playing in the middle of the park. But I used to like look at a winger and they can wear whatever the hell they want. But that's just marketing just into the brain. That's all it is.
subconsciously it is bet into us from a young age from football.
It is.
Is it not the idea of like the wingers are the most creative players that they wear the like most outrageous boots?
The risk
the
taking
marketing.
boots.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, but that's the whole marketing flaw.
that's the whole thing. You're playing to that
That's not.
market.
That's like an actual trait of creative people.
Yeah.
You would say.
That's
It's
a
not
good point.
marketing.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah,
that
An
is.
expression.
But again,
It's
yeah,
an
no, I think you're
artistic
right.
thing.
But then the marketing exactly plays to that, so they go
Yeah.
hand in hand, I think.
That is a very good point.
And also the
Yeah.
way boots are designed, some of them are like by right, like lighter, or they have a certain amount of durability
Yeah.
and stuff. Again, purely preference.
The only Adidas boots, sometimes when they try to go the lightest boot up, but you ever like get kicked in the boots, it's like, at least if you're in Coppas or something, you can actually get stood on, all doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But them, like, flying in ones and all, oh my god.
And modern day boots are very,
Paper
very
and
fragile, unfortunately.
Maradona used to be floating around in a pair of Puma Kings with the flaps
Oh,
on.
they're.
And all
Actually-
black Puma Kings with the flaps on.
Well, I've seen photos there recently. Did you ever see when he done a charity match for, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
but
it's some
and
kid,
the
wasn't it?
clubs wouldn't agree to it or whatever
Yeah.
reason, like, because players.
It was
so
some kid was sick, I think.
That's what it was. And they
done it
just went
outside
and
his
done it
house.
inside his gaff, and you want to see the state of the pitch, and he's just running a mug on the pitch, and there's mug everywhere.
Running on the ball,
Oh,
yeah.
stop. Kid.
Saw that.
So I don't know, it's purely preference, isn't it? Whatever you like, first of all,
Well,
the look of.
Studs chosen on the
Yeah, well
Yeah.
you've got to get that correct. But I don't think that's difficult anymore. It used to be studs, molds, and then like blades. Blades are gone.
They
It
are
was
gone.
ACL tear central, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
huge injury issues, especially in Ashram. You try and rotate the turn, blades naturally by the way they are, they get stuck in the ground. And chip, ankles, ACLs. Yeah, injury. As far as I'm aware, anyway.
I think you're right.
I think that
that's
is correct.
what I heard off the great
I haven't seen blades in years.
No, they literally are not being made. Like I think they're completely rub off.
Mm.
But yeah, what you'd like to look at. Like if you feel good wearing it, then why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Feel good,
Do your
play
thing.
good.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Ronaldo had a thing as well that he wouldn't wear black boots for ages because he looked the same thing I was saying, like he's looking at his black boots and he's like, I don't feel that
She
shit.
wasn't up Ronaldo.
But then he looks down, he has the bright pinks on, he's like, oh yeah, sure.
Good question.
Genuine.
Right. This is a good one.
They're kind of.
Biting with the mic. I know, yeah.
It caught me on the nose there when I was talking, so I had to fix
Hit
it.
it back. Well, most underrated player in the Prem currently this year. We'll go off. Nilo, you.
Oh my
shoved
god,
it up.
that's horrific.
Yeah, good question. Reece Kelly asked this one earlier today, actually.
Underrated.
as well.
We were talking earlier about Ashley Young.
Yeah, but yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I know, but I know what you're saying.
But
I know
no
what
one
you're-
talks about Ashley Young.
I know what you're getting at. Obviously now he is past that. Great goal yesterday, but
Your man McAllister for Brighton is
Yeah,
savage.
good shout.
And I was going to go
Solid
Gross.
shout.
Gross is actually being
Solid
dead.
Kovacic is
Yeah.
a.
I don't know if he's been good this year though.
He is so
I haven't watched much of him.
No, I haven't seen.
So your man McAllister's.
Oh,
his
you
dad.
say it was that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
see
if
that?
you can pull that up.
Your man.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, because he's Argentinian, but his dad looks like.
His dad played 450
Boca
games for
Juniors.
Hibs and then signed for Boca Juniors. And you look at him and he looks like he played 450 games for Hibs, like he's proper red hair.
Yeah.
Really? Just a Scottish fella?
Well, his name, no, I think he was Spanish as well.
Yeah.
Chilean, is it
Yeah,
Chilean?
yeah.
That's
it.
nice. Oh my god.
Have you ever seen?
You need
it?
to
What's
pull
his
it
name?
up
It
for
says
the
at the
viewers
top,
on.
what's
McAllister.
That's crazy.
McAllister. Carlos Javier.
Yeah, so
Like,
he's obviously
Obviously Spanish.
Yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Scottish.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that lad play.
Pascal is a good player.
Because they're doing well, so they didn't want to say Gross, but he actually is very good. And your man Trossard is very good as well. But he's also doing well,
Trossard's a
so
very good show.
It has to be
That's it.
someone who's not.
He's
being
one of
called
them who's riding away, but everyone's going to hop on and say he's very good.
Nah, maybe he's correctly rated. That young fella for Palace is very good. What's his name we were
Is it?
talking about?
Is it?
Yeah, it's against Liverpool.
Yeah.
He stood out to me now this
He's
year.
very good. He can be hot and cold. Just the nature of the way
He's
he
not
plays.
underrated, I suppose. Pretty correctly
Yeah, probably
rated for his
correctly
age.
rated. Yeah, he's good.
Bentancur for Spurs is
Yeah,
class.
Kulusevski.
Yeah, he's
Oh
that.
my god. No, he is quality.
Yeah.
I know people say he's good. He is quality. He is such a good player. But again, do people talk about him much? I'm like this. We were saying this on our first podcast back. We're in football all the time. I'm never actually seeing what's going on. I don't have Twitter or anything.
I get
don't
slated
see
for
that
this by
stuff.
all my mates that I don't watch football because I'm always
No, no.
either in one-to-one or I'm
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
true, I actually never get to see games.
not up to date with anything
Yeah,
really.
Manchester United or bust.
Yeah, literally. I know United stuff.
We were chuffed on Sunday that we could watch the Everything game, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
celebrating.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
And
Really
Dub
good.
Central.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
Well,
They'd be
Well,
like two
like-
shots. Bentancur and McAllister.
Bentancur's a very good
And
shot.
the much Spurs, he's dead.
Anybody in Leeds that is underrated?
Not really, no, is there?
Has to be a team that's like.
do you know what actually?
doing really well.
Iwobi is underrated.
Not happening.
Jesus, centre mid,
Iwobi
by
is
the
a
way.
centre mid.
No,
lads.
no,
Not happening.
I'm not having
I'd say.
Oh,
Oh, I already ran away.
just have it with us for once.
Oh,
Give this
I
man
would
a
think-
break.
I would think.
Iwobi.
He's after being a winger and he was desperate. Now he's just.
Apparently he is playing good this year. I haven't seen enough games to give context, but he's one of them that I'm just like, nah.
They basically moved him to the middle of the park and he's been doing really well the last 6
Well, he played middle of the park towards the end of the
Yeah,
Arsenal
last year.
career, didn't he, as well? I think he did.
Oh,
towards
I
the
think
end.
he's one of
He
them who
played
just
holding midfield a few
one of them
games.
who's uncertain about what position they're playing. Chamber, Oxlade-Chamberlain went through that phase.
Yeah,
He was playing the wing. He's
He's-
like, I'm a midfielder. Come on.
It's one of them players where like you're playing at home for everyone and the crowds are really up and he's just one of them players who's like such a momentum.
He can
player.
ride the
like,
wave.
you imagine running, nailing someone in the pack, getting on and running past 3 people and everyone loves him.
I have it. I know he's probably ready to laugh. Jonathan is so good in the middle of the park.
Oh, fuck.
Never watched
Yeah,
him.
yeah, I'll
He
give you that.
is
Yeah.
quality.
Who?
Never
John
watched him.
Jonathan. Joe Linton.
Oh, Joe Linton.
Yeah. He used to be, remember he came in as a big number
Yeah,
9.
so-
Everyone's like, he is horrendous. And then they put him in the middle as a 6. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's not one of them that's like, oh, he looks like a centre forward playing there. He
Yeah.
looks like a proper number 6 playing in there. But, well, box to box he plays
Yeah,
that.
box to box.
Breaking lines,
Yeah,
he
he's
scores
probably a
goals,
fair
defends, gets around. He covers like one of the most kilometres in the Premier League as far as I'm aware. He's just quality at it.
You know the soccer AM thing where they all do like I think it's if they're like rating their players or who's good in the dressing room. What's that called? When Tubes does it.
I haven't watched soccer in years, but I know what you're
What's
talking
it
about.
called? I don't know. But
It's just called team.
basically, yeah, teammates.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. And all the Newcastle players always say John Linton when even he was like brutal, which obviously shows like
He's
why
something
they
to
put him
train
in.
in, yeah.
Ericsson's probably properly rated because everyone is rating him and he gets them deadly.
I was underrated him when he came to it.
I'd call him underrated, definitely.
I was
I think he's
underrated.
getting a lot of plaudits now.
Yeah.
He is.
tell you what the real testament to those sorts of players when you watch them play international football. Remember when he played against Ireland and he was
Zinchenko against Ireland as well.
Yeah, those sorts of players.
Those sorts of players, you're like in and around them environments. You're dead right. In and around them environments, you're like, wow.
Your sport of choice.
There's such a divide between the standard. It's incredible. And Zinchenko would have been a fringe player.
City
Now,
player,
still a quality player for City, but a fringe, we'll say, never really had a cemented place. They brought in how many fullbacks to try and replace him, or to play over him. But yeah, when he plays in the middle, a foreign position to him, and he just unbelievable.
He was a centre mid when he came to see.
Was he?
He's
Yeah, but
traditionally
he was.
yeah.
He was.
well,
And then they put
yeah,
him
but
into
you
fullback
know when you're
again.
not playing, even if for 6 or 7 months,
Yeah.
if you're not playing in a certain position, it's like it's foreign to you when you go
Yeah,
back, and then
yeah.
you pick it up if you
Especially
have
in
it.
Parkland.
But at the middle of the park, the most hectic position in the world, you went in and you obviously.
He was dead in that fit again that they won the league with. They brought him on at half time. They
Oh yeah, he got the assist.
Yeah, he got one for Rodgers.
Rodgers, yeah.
And he was savage.
Rodgers.
I got it right him.
That is one of the.
Rodgers
Yeah.
class.
He's
Rodgers
unbelievable.
is class.
That is
Well,
one of the things about
I actually
top
had-
players. Yeah.
I had this point today, or last week, that if Rodgers signed for United, wasn't he linked to United before he went?
Was it?
Possibly.
I think it was.
Everyone
If he
thinks
signed for
he was.
United, he wouldn't have been as good as he
No.
is now. It's just because he's in a great team and he's
Yeah.
class.
You'd probably have to do too much at United and then
Yeah.
struggle. Do you know?
This is going to be a random show. It's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But Casemiro got man of the match the other day, yeah?
I heard he
Casemiro was miles off him.
Dead Wallace son.
He was
Yeah,
miles off him. Wasn't he, G, when we were watching it?
I wasn't a big.
He was
fan
the
of
nah,
him.
but I can see where he got it. I think someone got a spot on and said he was like a 2 out of 10 on
Out
the
of
ball,
10,
and a
yeah.
10 out of 10 off the ball.
That's not man of the match.
That's a man of the match.
It's
Oh,
got
shot
he
it.
loses
Yeah.
the ball for the goal
It is
and
crazy.
they cut it so that they just show him in the
Yeah,
back
they
and
just
setting
said
it up.
But
that was
he gives
so
away
awful.
so cheaply. Now, the
Yeah.
tackle is quality, and the pass, everyone's going to say that he should make that pass.
Yeah.
Can we make that clear? Like, it's
Ah, no,
it's
it's good that he
acres.
has
No,
his
that's
line on straight
factorial.
away.
I'm sorry, that is factorial.
It's acres.
No, I
he
think it's
should
good.
find that
I think
pass.
it's good.
No,
that as soon as he tackles, first thing he thinks is
but
where's
it's
Ronaldo?
literally straight in front of him, though.
Yeah.
I know you got to execute,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
if Scott McTominay wins that ball, like puts him in, no one's like, oh Scott, what a pass.
Yeah,
There's
true.
no way.
I
There's no
agree.
way.
No, there is a
Scott
touch
fan.
of that. There is a touch of that. Yeah.
You a Scott fan?
Big Scott fan. It's got me drippy.
Mix it up. I like
I'm a big
it.
Scott fan.
Yeah, he was
He's
he
an
was
average
poor to
baller.
stand
Yeah,
up.
but you need a McTominay in your team, I think. Well, not maybe not your team. You need him in your squad because
Yeah, he's a squad player. He was thrown out of his depth, literally playing as United's holding with Fred. Like,
Well, who we criticise a player?
oh, 100%. You're dead right.
Ah,
You're
no,
dead
yeah.
right.
Sense, but yeah.
If that was the case,
I'm always careful criticising pros because, like,
yeah, no.
who are we to criticise?
no,
players?
we're not criticising. Like obviously they're pros for a reason. We're just
The lads.
criticising them.
I'm going to criticise one here. King, do you rate Dean Henderson as a keeper?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
He's not right.
Here's the
He's
stat
not-
phrase. Dean Henderson has conceded 10 goals from outside of the box from a combined XG of 0.6.
XG
Combined,
expected
yeah.
goals.
no, yeah.
combined.
0 points. Oh, combined.
Combined.
0.6 isn't a bad XG. That's like 60%.
Yeah, but combined with all 10 goals.
No.
So that's like some
Half a
would be like
goal.
0.0
I
something.
thought it was 0.6%
No,
for
no,
one goal.
no.
Half a goal.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Well, how many shots? 10.
10 goals come
So
in.
divide that by 60. Or divide that by 60.
Yeah,
Basically,
thanks for
down,
watching.
You should meet the Dean.
Oh, yeah, I wanna.
I think this is showing
Calculator.
him out. Off. Show him off. Show him
No,
off.
I'm not.
True
I'm
colours.
not show.
Yeah, I was trying to say.
I wouldn't have shouted him. I just think he's decent.
Who? There's loads, isn't there? You can't really pick one.
The England number
Most
one.
underrated.
Who would be the England number one?
Nick Pope.
Well, Nick Pope should be.
Even after his clanger.
Oh,
That's
that's
it.
true, yeah.
And the clanger the week before that.
Does he have a belt?
Is it 2 games,
yeah,
2
I forgot
points?
that, yeah.
His last 2 games.
You probably forgot
He's
Ramsdale
still-
then.
I think
Nah,
Pickford just keeps
Ramsdale
through.
shouldn't be in the
Oh, you
squad.
mean Pickford, like
No, he's messing up.
Pickford
Ramsdale
just
should
keeps
Roll the
through.
dice, throw them and see what happens.
Pickford for me.
We need to do, and we will. Let us know if you want to see this, but we need to do a whole episode where we go through a list of players and we go overrated, underrated, and debate the whole thing. Because there's some shouts that the media, when someone goes in the media, Ramsdale's very likeable because remember he was given the big one about getting slagged and all, whatever. If you like that, you like that. And then he just rode this wave of like, he's quality, but he was making mistake after mistake after mistake, and no one was calling him out. Second one is Hugo Reece. Man, the most overrated goalkeeper of all time. I know he has a World Cup, but let's bring it back to the World Cup final, in which he does a Cruyff turn, falls over himself and concedes in the World Cup final.
Luke Shaw's another one. He scored that goal against City when he took it down and ran half the pitch.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Luke Shaw's deadly on forward. And he just rolled that way for
He does have a nice lefty in fairness. His delivery is good, but There you
I
are. You
love
know
my
I'm
defenders. I love my defenders. I can't
That's
stand
crap,
them.
I swear to God.
Oh,
Oh, that's sessions for you. Oh, there you
next
go. Pop it
question.
out.
Cringe.
Yeah, so.
Next question.
Next question, sorry lads.
Good answers though for the underrated.
This is a good one, also from Reece Kelly. Percentage-wise, is football more physical or mental? So we'll take technical out of it. If you were to compare the two of mentality and physicality,
Is
which
this
one do you
bracket
want
for pros or for
Yeah.
amateurs?
good question. Let's go pros first.
Physical is a baseline. Everyone has to be physical.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
At this
So
stage.
physical is base. So you're saying
If we're talking top pro football, like we'll say Premier League, you have to have the physical abilities. Straight, it's a baseline.
Strength or physical is
I mean,
speed
like
and everything.
all of it. Like you have to be able to cover
Your
ground.
genetics.
Genetics, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm watching him work on with that, but yeah, I'd say it's a baseline. So I'd say
so. What would
if
you
there's
say
no
percentage
technical,
wise?
then
What would you say percentage wise? Divide the two.
10, 90%.
Like Matic made a career in the Premier League.
But you cover, not that he's not quick, but he covered ground and he was a big
He's
presence.
also like.
I think
6'4".
nowadays it's
Well,
even
yeah,
more.
you would.
Physicality is not. Yeah, it's like, can you run? Can you
Yeah.
cover ground? Are you quick? Are you strong? Like,
Yeah, it's
there's
all
quite, like
about-
Hazard is physically unbelievable, but he's not big.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
it's position specific as well.
That is
It's
true.
whatever position
Sorry.
you're playing in.
With the mental thing, though, I'd say 90% is if you go back to when they played games in lockdown, the amount of results that were skewed because the lesser teams weren't playing under the pressure of a crowd and were getting. Remember, like Villa hopped off Liverpool. You know, you got hopped off with somebody as well.
Spurs.
Oh, did someone else not beat them, man?
Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a couple where,
I think Brighton.
and they actually were looking into it at the time, being like, well, how are our Villa able to just do it at Liverpool? And they basically were saying how the top players are better at coping with the pressure of a crowd, whereas the other players, it like levels the playing field and there's no crowd there. So that would tell me it's the top of the game. It's more mental than physical.
So-
Physical the baseline.
To be a top
Yeah.
player in a pro bracket, surely it starts skewing a little bit towards like you have to have much better mentality than the average
90%,
player.
man.
Yeah.
10% physical. That
What about a Leicester Senior League player? Mental.
Then it'd be opposite. I'd say.
Yeah, I'd
The
say
lower down you
get
go,
a
the
lot.
more because you can get kids football now, like under 12, 13, it's like 90% physical. I'd say.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
So like it's kind of balanced.
I think
that
the
way.
higher you go up, it becomes less about size and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, the majority of players who are getting to professional level, they're all units. Like, and like, even the ones who aren't, who's a really good example? Like Matic actually is a good example. Long and slender, but good lord, I'd say he's so strong. I'd say he's so strong. You might not look it, but there's no way that these lads aren't as
They
powerful
are.
as could
They
be.
have to be.
They have to be. They have to be. Even just the how would you say it? Just the stamina and the way like playing at that intensity under that pressure for that amount of time over a season, over international careers, you've got to be physically bang at it. And those who aren't and constantly pick up knocks and injuries and stuff, it's either genetically they're really unfortunate, or they just don't look after themselves. And those who look after themselves generally have longer careers. So kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? But yeah, I think to separate the top, so Ronaldo from Jordan Ibe mentality, and he's a tennis player. That was a random shit. Do you remember that? I seen something about him the other day. Apparently, like people are like bringing him back up, saying, "Gee, he could have been so good." No, Jordan Ibe, no.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
know
I
Jordan Ibe.
remember.
But apparently, everyone was saying, I seen it on TikTok, like more than one video.
How much did he go to Bournemouth for?
Thirty
It was something
million.
stupid.
30?
It was something stupid.
It was Sri Lanka was the same.
Slanky was up there, yeah.
I think you're right though. When you're kids, it's 90%, 99% physical, 1% mental. I've seen great kids with mentalities, even at like under 13s, and they weren't getting kicks up a sphere on a match day because they just weren't at it physically at all to cover ground. And then as you get a bit older, I find, like it's from maybe let's say I don't know, League 2 to Championship, that there is a baseline of physicality needed. Because the first thing you look at, if you've got two players to combine, I think at some level there's a lot of really good footballers out there at times. I think the top teams, even in the academy structures as well, they will pick a player who is physically developed correctly. Like if you look at any top 17-year-old player playing in a Cat 1 academy, they're all young men. Like, or they are men with better physiques than any person in their mid-20s, which is scary. Why would you give somebody else a chance who's good technically when you have this fella here who is just as good technically and is, you know, has 3 times the mass, 2 times quicker, or whatever is needed for that position? But I think the big thing when pros, like the top grade players, especially if you talk about like the Tiger Woods of this world, or the Jordans, or like the top performers, that's when it really skews, between, I would say, 99% mental, 1% physical at that stage. But it's if you really want to look at things, it's always at the extremes, though, isn't it? You know, you can take a bracket of players from Premier League to League Two. Let's say, for example, let's say the stat is, I don't know, 60 physical, or say 60 mental, 40 physical. But when you look at the extremes of the top performers, I think it really skews heavily to 99% mental, 1% physical. In terms of pressure, fear, being able to let go, and even like an edge of spirituality as well with some of these guys, the likes of Mo Salah and stuff. Because Mo Salah was always saying like he never, like when he prays before, or when he goes through prayer before a game and stuff, he always just like completely lets go and just like, well, whatever happens on the pitch is not me, it's something bigger than I am. And I think tapping into those sorts of things is not what every person can do in the world, so it's interesting.
He needs it pronto this year. He actually has a massive 6 months in actually, because he went through that real great wave of football, and it's like now he's dipped a bit, and this is a question of world classness.
Morgan has been calling now Salah for years.
And
No, he's quality. He is quality, but
if he pulls back from this, he is world class.
People saying that all of a sudden he's the best winger of all time in the Premier League. Nonsense. What are you talking about? Consistency over time.
See all you people on TikTok, you need to go watch Henry.
Factorial.
Suarez
Everyone was giving us lip. Did you see the comments on TikTok?
No.
Not
Unbelievable
one
what Henry
comment
had.
said
Suarez.
Henry should be the number one.
Really?
Out of the, remember the star bench cell?
Yeah.
Suarez.
Suarez. Joke.
Over Henry.
Well, think of
Well, most of it's
the
an age thing. I
the
suppose.
age graphic on TikTok. Surely they're all.
Everyone
You go go do your research. Get out
But
fire.
But then again, none of you said like Alan Shearer though. Like you
wasn't
probably
in
even
debate.
saw.
He wasn't in debate, but Alan Shearer was.
Alan Shearer,
But would
top
you put
goal
him up
scorer of all
there?
time.
But he wasn't even in the debate for us because of that. Would you say because of the same way?
It was just a random one.
Someone asked the
Oh,
question like
that's fair
mention them
enough,
three
that's
players
fair
and asked Carter.
Shearer be top 3 or 4 Premier League players, that sure.
He's top scorer.
Top scorer.
Sure, yeah.
I think it's so funny when the likes of Shearer, excuse me, talk to like Holland in interviews and all. I think that's gas. Like it's so funny. You never see that back in the day. You never see like a young Shearer talking to like a Brian Robson, for example. That sort of content it's baffling to me anyway. What's the next question?
Is the modern footballer less willing to do the basics? And by basics, it's like running to me.
What are the basics? So running, communicating.
Communicating.
Beating around him,
Like-
rolling.
I was going to say high energy and stuff, like getting around. You see a lot of players are very passive these days. Now, obviously.
I think kids need to have a look at themselves. I think
I was gonna say-
think
that's what I was gonna
kids
say.
are neglecting the basics.
Mhm.
You watch any pro game, 99% of them are at it, if I'm being honest with you. I know like people were calling out Manchester United now for like lack of running stats, and the data was quite clear, but I think kids need to have a look at themselves. The main conversation I have with kids sometimes is, especially in attacking sessions, is you do not want to run. You don't want to run forward. You don't want to create angles. Too fucking lazy. It's as simple as that. Like, not even like kids probably don't know where to run, but the intent to make something happen is very important for
To
me.
do something, yeah. Intent is the exact word. It's the exact word. Obviously, when you look at Liverpool, like last year, I was one game. I was like, right, I'm actually going to watch Liverpool. The moment they turn the ball over, recovery runs like you wouldn't believe. Everyone, doesn't matter where you're running, they're running somewhere, and they know if I get back into some sort of position, I can affect the play in some way. And it's not always present and easy to see. Then when they win the ball back, the front three, boom, gone. Everyone knows what they need to do, but they do everything with such intent. If Salah's making a run inside, he's not going, oh, I'm not going there. It's boom, I'm running in. Does he get it all the time? Absolutely not. But he is just so willing to run in there 40 times in the game. He'll get it once, and then since he's got the quality, he'll take that chance. But the intent to run is absolutely scary. But yeah, in kid sessions, it's actually frightening, the lack of running.
Do you remember this weird Stella? You were on the bench more. It was the first time I ever really thought about the concept of competing. So that was like, because Gary used to always say to us, like, with the Stella, like, either you got to bring 2 things in every game, it's like work rate and competing. But competing, I was like, that is the cool word. When I thought competing, it was just like 50 tackles, right? But we were at a game, and the ball went up for a header between the centre half and the centre forward. And the centre forward didn't win the header, but just put the centre half off balance enough they could get a little flick and then chase the ball into the channel. And then you were saying to that player, like, that's really good competing. Like, being able to affect the ball was the word that you said. Like, being able to affect it. And players don't want to do anything unless it's a guaranteed win. Whereas some of the best centre forwards that I see at underage are lads that will run every single channel, will compete for every single ball against centre halves just to affect it. Even if they can knock the centre half off balance, it works a huge difference. Like, what would you say, Gary, would be the big basics in football that are just like
I
non-negotiable?
think we use that, yeah. Running is kind of the basic one, and even going more, we got more techno with it, actually getting bored with the basics with the ball as well. Like, so it could be some players are really good at doing certain roles, like it might be centre halves or good defenders and moving the ball 5 yards, and it's nearly because that's not like the highlight reel kind of stuff you see anymore. Like you said, everyone wants no one wants to just affect the ball, they want to score the goal or the assist and all, they want all the highlight reel stuff. So yeah, I do agree with what you said about the whole intent thing running wise. I had a conversation with a player this year and a midfielder, and it was about adding 4 runs into his game, and then the whole second phase he scored 3 tap-ins. Well, one actually a great finish, I don't say tap-ins, like, but scored 3 from run, and there's actually a great angle on one of them where we win the ball, or sorry, we play up from the back, build down the left, and we get into the channel, and centre forward's gone into the channel 10, and the opposite man has gone in, so we're 2v2 in the box, and then he darts from behind the ball,
Nice.
and then the 2 lads roll front post, and then it comes across, drops to him, the kind of spot, or not, like 6 yard box, he taps it in, and it's gas on the conversation. He's had 3 goals from just like understand that when the ball breaks and we have clean possession in them areas, run and just cause
that is funny.
disorganisation.
But is it-
Morgan is made for a Bielsa team to watch. You should watch more of that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just
Will,
run
Just before that,
everywhere.
for that Gary, right? That
Runs.
player you're talking about, right? Because I would look at players sometimes and be quick to judge, like, geez, he's lazy, like he's not willing to make that run, but he might not know how to make that run, but only because you told him. It's like, here, this is
Yeah.
actually an opportunity here, and then he's actually going hell for leather with it.
And actually, I
Players
think that
really
there's
know
no
that
that there has to be sense that you can't just run for it all the time, because let's say your left winger has the ball, but there's 2 players around. The chances are he needs to do something before he gets a clean, entry to the final third to get a ball in the box. It's like read the situation right. Well, our fullback's broken their last line, so he has the ball. So let's go. Like,
That,
understand when.
that's a great way to describe it. There's
Unless
high,
you're a real transition.
there's
team.
high probability things. So
Yeah,
in basketball, they always break it down to that. Like, the probability of making this shot is whatever for a certain person at a certain age, because it's their bread and butter. Now you put some pressure in front of that, it reduces the probability and so on and so forth. It's very basic when you actually think about it. But things like that, if you see your winger who's good 1v1, and you know, say for example, and I know this sounds detailed, but if he's on the shoulder, she's on the shoulder, you can almost guarantee they're going to beat them. That is your trigger to go. But the thing is, whether you or not you can read that, you need to have the willingness to go. And I think one really important thing to know for any young players like that, they all want the last ditch tackle off the line as a defender, or they play that beautiful killer ball, or stanch it from 40 yards out. If you want to be around the ball, you need to get there. So you need to run. And I like to use a lot in coaching. It's like you need to earn your right to play. So if you want to be in and around the edge of the box where it drops and you have that beautiful time for half volley, well, you have to get there. You have to earn your right to get there. And by constantly running and covering ground, especially in games where you feel like, oh, I'm a little low on confidence and all, the more you run, the more opportunity you're actually going to be in the vicinity of the football. And that sounds super basic. But if you're in and around it most of the time, now you don't go chasing it everywhere, obviously, it's within reason. But if you're running to cover the ground and you're in and around the football, the opportunity is probably going to rise, and the probability of you getting the ball is probably going to rise, and therefore you earn your right to do your business. So if you're in and around the ball, there is a higher chance you're going to get on it, and then, like I said, you can earn your right to play. But yeah, I think it's insane, the lack of running. I know, obviously, it needs to be coached of when to run, where to run, how to make these runs, and sometimes you can't just go straight line, you have to arc movements or do double movements depending on the scenario. But the number one factor to that is you have to run to get there. And too many players at the high level, or not by high level I mean high level looking down, not playing professional football, they're just not willing to run. You could tell them until you're blue in the face, they just don't want to run. Whether it's a scared of fatigue or whatever, but just not having it.
Or bleeding Martial. Kinger.
What
do you think?
He's got more goals per minute than.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Isn't it 29 minutes or something?
To be fair, yeah, he scored a few goals.
Yeah.
But what do you think
Again,
about the basics, and is it moving away from football?
No, I think you were spot on. I think all the pros that I know have been in, they're all about the basics, really, to be honest. I think and you're right that the younger lads probably think they can go without doing the basics. And I think it's the basics that gets you to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they keep doing the basics and repetition of the basics that will get you there, to be honest, rather than thinking you're just gonna go straight to the top without climbing the stairs per se, even though that's a bit
No,
bit cringy, but I'd say that's you're spot on, G, yeah.
Nice. You trying to flag me now?
No, I have a question. Do you think pro players like you know, the way Dele Alli fell off forever, do you think that it's losing your basics that like they get, or like you could say, like, I don't know, there's loads of players like that. It's like, do you get to a point you're like, I'm so good I don't need too many, so you've done them the whole way up and then you're falling back down again before?
He's an interesting case, and I read an article about it ages ago. I was like, it depends on what success as a footballer is to him.
I think
To Dele Alli,
before,
success could be playing a senior game, like, and I don't know, people be like, oh, but his talent and it's not doing it, but that's his talent. That like maybe he didn't want to do more, and maybe he could look back and go, oh, I had a great career, because he's going like, I've never scored in the Premier League, like so. Yeah, but did he tell? Yeah, you could argue he did stop doing those because he used to be so good, like reads second balls around, like playing as like a second striker off Kane, and then he started like coming deeper and being a I don't know, yeah.
I think when players like that dip in form, there's a lot more. It's not just as I said, there's so much that goes into it, and I know what you're saying, and it's actually a good question. I think there's a lot more that goes on in the mind, in how they work. But I think for any player who's struggling with confidence and stuff, go back to doing like the most simple stuff in the world in your game. 5-yard passes, run, cover ground, communicate well, and all of a sudden you're involved in the game, and things will start to happen. And if you've got that ability to go and bring the game up, well, you've kind of like that. You've earned your right to play. So that when things go horribly wrong in games, the worst thing to do is go chasing the most difficult things in the world. Go get on the ball, play 5 yards, do your basics well. When the opportunity comes to do something else, well then your instinct will take over, and your instinct obviously comes from within your talent, but also you can train, as we always say, repetition removes doubt. So if you're doing the same stuff every single day, 5 yards, 10 yards, back foot, front foot, simple stuff, go back to that when you're under no trouble, because again, beauty is in the simple things.
I think that in a match, if you try a big 50-yard diag, it does come off. The next time you get it, if you try a 50-yard diag again, it's likely not going to come off. So I always think if I've done that, next time I get the ball, I'm just going to play it to you. 5 yards,
is the
and
gas
then I'll play it to you. And then I'll play it 10 yards, and then all of a sudden I'm back in, and I might try the 50-yarder again.
I think I'd be like that too, but I think that's how conservative we are as players, whereas you think the best players ever won't like shy away from that diag again, like that's their
self-confidence thing.
Definitely, I think you're right. Definitely in the pro game, I was kind of thinking in more so like a kid's game and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I was just going.
No, I think you're right, and like that, what you were saying, even with the boots, forward players especially, the risk takers, they have to be arrogant, they have to be ignorant. Like they need to get on the ball 10, 15 times. They might give that ball away every single time, but they have no problem getting it back and trying it again. Their whole job is to try humiliate and punish teams. That's their job. So they have to be willing to be ignorant, and everyone telling them they're muck, they had a terrible game, he didn't contribute to the game. They have to live all that and have the pressure of going to try to score the next week, which is very difficult. So
it's just funny that because I'd be the exact same. I'd be like, right, well, I've just done that now. I did rebuild back up the stairs again.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, but it's that. I was just saying, but there's some players that obviously a very small percentage.
Think of Bruno just tries that one, tries that one, and just does all sorts.
Where's why you wear the armband for United, though, isn't it?
Risk taking though, but that's the thing.
Yeah, no, sure, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
We're speaking to the majority.
Can I add another thing on the basics? Tell you what I found really interesting. I see commentary a lot about English football in the Premier League, that like no one's making tackles anymore, no one's hitting hard tackles, the game's gone soft. I was like, the ball's moving way quicker. You can't get near people.
And if you do like miss time, it looks way worse because it's how quick it's gone. Like,
look, this is gas, right? Me and Morgan were going on holidays there a few months ago, and we were in the airport bar, and we were watching like clips of like Premier League back in 04 or 05, and the standard is muck compared to what it is now in regards to how fast the ball moves and the phases of play. No wonder people were in 50-50s every minute, because every touch is a bounce board, like it's gas, you know. And then people are saying, "Geez, no Roy Keane's anymore." I'd be interested to see what players would be like if you just pick them out of those times and put them in now. Imagine bleeding Xavi, Iniesta and all the boys knocking the sphere around you. Yeah. No, thank you. I know, it's an interesting thought process.
Great players can play across that generation. 100%.
Yeah.
It's hard to
tweak it though, wouldn't they?
You can't just take what they were and put them in, because for them, if you were to put Roy Keane now, well, he would have been trained up in the way football is now.
Yeah, that is
Football,
true. Yeah, sorry, yeah, that is.
Yeah, but then
true.
what
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying
true.
is if they're that good, they'll have this underlying thing where they can adapt and play in any system and play any system way. No, I think you're right. Top players, and again, those that do that are 15 years consistently at it.
Just made
well,
that
10 we'll say.
Like there's Zidane's and all them boys. And
Yeah.
Just to reframe that to just to reframe that back into the question. People say all basics is like tackling and hitting hard tackles and stuff. I was like, yeah, I mean the ball is much quicker at pro level in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's why your teams aren't hitting harder tackles in the Premier League.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a quick fiery kind of question?
Go for it.
Will Arsenal last in this title race?
I think they'll be thereabouts. Not for the title. I think they'll be top 4. I don't think they'll.
Yes.
I don't think they'll be at it. Again, I could be wrong. But
Yeah.
City are just too good. I think.
What's your top 4 then?
City, Arsenal.
Arsenal second.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, City, Arsenal, Spurs, United.
Ooh, Spurs.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Antonio Conte.
I'd go with that, but I think
That's
Chelsea
fine.
might not be United.
Chelsea, I'm only saying United because I'm a United fan, but probably not.
I'm
Chelsea.
actually going to back United to go 4th. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be. I think City will win. I think United will be 4th, and I honestly haven't a clue what will be in between. I think Arsenal have to be thereabouts after the top quality start. What's going to be very interesting this year?
Back in, I'd say. Is that
Maybe, yeah. I think they might do. But the World Cup this year could disrupt the whole thing. Imagine a couple of injuries,
right? Yeah, big time.
could mess up a whole season.
Big time.
Yeah,
And
you
they're all
can.
Brazilian. They're all be like Brazil will be going far in it, I'd say.
Yeah.
You can plan the top 4 of the Premier League this year. Well, I think you can really guarantee City are going to win it, but
Yeah, it's hard to know. I'm interested more so if Spurs will be thereabouts.
I think Spurs. Conte do
I think Conte's the man.
Yeah, I
I
think
think Conte's the man. And also, if you got Harry Kane in your squad, you've got a chance. I know they've got great players around them now, but
the second top goal scorer again. I mean, the guy is just an animal. Like,
consistency. Again,
He's borderline underrated.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say we should have brought him up.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is so underrated.
He's borderline
Still.
underrated, yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
the
no,
English
that's
captain, and no one. Do you know what? He's not like a sexy footballer, is he? Like
I know
he's
what you
not
mean.
so nice to watch and all. He does.
But it's just he looks awkward when he moves.
He
or
is
something, or like looks
Yeah.
slow, or his ball striking is out.
He's in the top 3 centre.
He's in the top 3 centre forwards in the world. It has been for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're saying consistency, he is consistent.
Mhm.
How long has he been at it? 5 years?
It's incredible how long he's been at it. It's actually more than you think it is.
Probably more than that, yeah.
Yeah, he's top.
I think as he had like 20 plus goals for like 5 or 6 years in a row. I could be wrong in saying that.
He's
But
my favourite player
that's
inside
incredible.
Man United anyway.
He was a late developer
Yeah,
as well, wasn't he? He
definitely.
was like late on the
Yeah.
scene. He was 22.
Did you see
23.
that campaign he released because he released the foundation on the day of World Mental Health Day. He was talking about he done like a mini podcast and like an ad saying he got released from Arsenal at I think it was 7 or 8. And then he had a conversation with his dad on a bench outside a lake wherever they're from. I think he's actually from London or whatever. And the quote was amazing from his dad. I don't want to botch it, so I'm not going to say it, but it was very nice. It kind of rang a bell. And fuck that's really really cool. And yeah, signed for Spurs and a 14 or something. Very interesting. Cool guy. Looks like a real cool guy.
Yeah, I'd say he is cool.
Could play for Ireland. I think he called it.
Yeah, he does. I think we've discussed this as well. We'll meet him one day. I can almost guarantee it.
I hope
I was
so.
following him as well. Will I pull it up?
Yeah, no. we never got the Fergie one.
I think it's in black and white with a little black and white montage. What do you call that? Filter, yeah.
I'd love to be Harry
I
Kane.
think we will. I genuinely believe we will. Actually, you wouldn't know this. We obviously work with Stat Sports, yeah, our partners. They asked us. They were doing a campaign, and they asked us to do. We were very privileged to do so, but we were doing drills specific to each of their ambassadors. So, like, when Harry Kane was doing like a shoot, he was just looking at the boys, just going, "What I decided to do," and we went out and do it. Yeah. Isn't that mad? We had to go out and do it. Just me, G ran out. I thought you weren't around that day. It was Sunday. I'm like, right, we should probably do this quite well. So we went out half an hour or something, or an hour before session, and just recorded on the phone.
That's class.
Yeah, it's mad. Mad whole story. Still have.
Do you want to get one more question in?
Yeah, we'll
before
get
we
one more in, and this is the one. This is the one. Look at Nilo, fella. This is the one.
I get nervous when he does this.
Trent and Reece James.
Oh.
Well, I'll let one of you start it because
I had the stats and I forgot the paper, so apologies, but I do remember them. If I'm not mistaken, Trent Alexander-Arnold has 169 appearances for Liverpool. He was born in 1998, which is interesting. I thought he was actually much younger, 1998. Reece James is born in 1999. He's younger than Morgan.
Would you believe that?
Trent has to be younger than Reece James, no?
No.
That's what I thought.
What age is he? Sorry,
He was 24 last
He's
Friday.
98, yeah.
24?
Reece
Last
James
Friday,
is,
yeah.
Reece James is
Trent.
99.
Trent has
Trent
also
was
played
24,
in
that's
3
right.
Champions League finals.
Also, here's another
Yeah.
one for you. They each have a Champions League. They each have a FIFA Club World Cup. They each have a UEFA Super Cup. Then Trent has a Premier League. He has 2 League Cups, and he has an FA Cup and a Community Shield, which is pretty good at that age.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
But the goals, that's what I meant to say. The goals. Trent has 11 goals.
Reece James definitely has more than that, is he?
9. 2 under. Yeah.
And Trent is on all set pieces for Liverpool as well, isn't he? In around the box, isn't he? No. He's on
And
pretty much all.
he's on corners
He's the
anyway, yeah.
assist, right? I
He's
can't
a free
remember
kicks,
all Trent has 45 assists for Liverpool in 169 games. That's unbelievable.
More than Steven Gerrard.
And what's his face? Reece James only has 8 or 9.
Oh,
But-
yeah, no.
To be fair, right? Reece James is a much better footballer than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Overall.
No, I wouldn't use it with football.
Okay, I know what you're saying. Technique-wise.
Yeah, let's define this.
But he is a better footballer.
He's a better player because he's a better
Yeah,
effective game,
yeah,
whereas a
player.
footballer is a technical.
Yes.
It's
I agree.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know what
Trent
you're
is a
saying.
better footballer, skill set wise,
Yeah.
or skill wise, technical and all that. But I think Reece James is a more effective player.
Yeah.
Overall,
In more
I actually
systems
don't
of
think
play.
there's any debate, to be honest with you. And Nora's probably looking at me like, what are you talking about? I don't think there's any debate that Reece James is an overall much more rounded footballer.
Right.
And suits
Player.
more systems.
Right back.
Right back.
Reece
Yeah.
James can play, yes.
More systems.
Right wing back, he can play right full. He also, can also play in a back 3, no problem. I think centrally, physically he's definitely better. Unbelievable, like athleticism. Obviously, you'll probably see his strength and conditioning coach on TikTok and all. He's an animal physically, genetically. He's in incredible shape. I think the big debate, right? So we all know what Trent can do, right? I'm actually not a fan of Trent just because I'm not a Liverpool man, I'm a United man, but he's unbelievable technically. One of the best passers of football you probably ever see. But when you need to separate that. Reece James is a fantastic distributor of sphere, by the way. Has a lovely ping on him. Set pieces are also excellent when he's on them. I think when you look at their 2 systems, so obviously the way Chelsea play, Reece James would obviously not be as high. Trent is literally the target man when Liverpool go forward. Therefore, he's in nicer areas, and obviously you need to have the quality when you're in there, which he certainly does. When he rode that wave for 2 years, he would get assists like every second game or something like that. It was
And
on a
goals.
different level. Yeah, and he can contribute goal scoring as well. Again, when you could strike a ball like that, it's a real asset. But when if you put Reece James in Liverpool's system, this is a question I'm going to ask to us all. If you put Reece James in Liverpool's system in which he's just constantly the target man
I don't think
for
it'll work out.
outballs, no, not happening.
I think, and this is just popped in my head, if you put them both in their ideal circumstances, Trent will be a better player. But that's not what Liverpool is right now, and that's why I think James is a better player because he can fit more systems and more styles. But I think if you were to put both of them in their top condition or top environment, I think Trent is a better player. Like that Liverpool was team 2 years ago. Really, that was
In terms of like
As an
output.
asset. As an
asset,
asset in the starting
yes.
11.
yeah, as in his impact on the game for their style of play and their system of play.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, I think because you consider his output, it's absolutely
That's what I mean.
incredible.
Like, and that's what they
Absolutely
build that team.
incredible,
around.
yeah. But you put it in simple terms,
Such
the
a hard
current
defense.
Liverpool system, right?
game, but like
Yeah, it's impossible to defend.
They
Fall
don't
back.
run anymore.
They've no recovery runs centrally, so that means Trent is exposed in 1v1 scenarios. And I know the debate is, Trent can't defend or Trent can defend. Trent struggles horrendously defensively, like really struggles. He doesn't have a defensive bone in his body, which I understand because he hasn't had to defend for 2 or 3 years, but he really is exposed. Like has been exposed. I know it's probably easy for me to say. I'm talking from United point of view, but it's in the media now, isn't it? Everyone's harping on about it. That's why we said we'd bring it up. But I think just in general, as an overall like that player, I genuinely I don't believe there's a debate.
I personally, yeah, I'm James, but that's because I'm quite a conservative football coach. To be honest with you, I like competent fullbacks, and I like to allow front players to have a lot of autonomy, and centre mids have a lot of autonomy. I like fullbacks who are consistent, strong, and will stop the ball going to the back of my net, knowing that someone at the other end for us is going to get the goal. Like I'm a 1-0, 2-0 man.
The funny thing is though, Reece James can contribute offensively.
I know.
Very well.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But for the fullbacks that I like fullbacks that can step as play emerges, can make inside runs if a winger stays wide and is effective driving inside. But they don't need to be someone who needs to ping a ball 60 yards like Becks. Like I like somebody that can. Again, it's just competent. They're not doing anything magically. They're doing their job exactly.
You could argue Reece James hasn't peaked as well. That's what you said. Time for Trent, or maybe he has.
He's a year younger than Trent.
Yeah, and he's also. You said he's got half the appearances that Trent has.
He's had the Premier League appearances. Yeah. He played for Wigan. He has 45 games on loan. Trent has 169 Premier League games, which is huge. Like
24. Yeah.
But Reece James only has 88 Premier League games. I say only. Also.
It's scary.
In a top 4 club as well. I mean, it's pretty cool with the two of them. Remember when we were younger, we said, "Geez, England don't have any fullbacks."
And then all of a sudden, Lamptey.
He's gone to.
Yeah,
he's after going to. What country is that? He made his debut.
Ghana.
It is Ghana.
Yeah. See of himself, Trent.
He's English.
Yeah, I know, but he is English. Like he could have played for England. He is an English man. Himself, Trent, Walker,
Kieran Trippier,
Trips,
Walker
Jamesy
Peters,
obviously,
Wan-Bissaka.
Walker Peters, Wan-Bissaka you could throw in there. Like that's 7 in the Premier League or whatever, wherever they're playing. I think they're all. Did I name everyone that's in the Premier League? There?
Yeah.
Trips
Could be
back.
this more. So.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more. There's definitely more that are out there. That's 7. You'd probably take. Ireland would take any of them.
Oh.
Without doubt.
Play one of them up top.
Yeah, exactly. We take
Trips
half
in the hole in the 10.
Trips, underrated.
Accurately
Oh, he's gonna say accurately right. Yeah, I think properly right. Just about.
Slightly underrated.
I don't think he is
Slightly.
actually rated.
Slightly underrated.
I think he's either some people really overrated or some people really underrated. Which one? I think
Yeah, okay, maybe then it probably.
Like some people make a big massive deal of him. It's kind of like, well, he's good.
Oh.
Really, I have never seen anyone go on Ronaldo about Trips. To be honest.
Would you
So
put
he's
Trent
a
in
cool-
midfield?
No,
Would you not move him, no?
no.
Well,
You get it ran around essentially.
I think he's a right wing back.
You get it ran around
He's
essentially.
not a right full.
Defensive liability. Listen,
I
your
think
job
he'll-
as a
I
defender.
think
is
he'll
to
end up
ball.
as a midfielder.
Do you think
in
so?
some way,
When
yeah.
you're older, I think you can get away with
Yeah.
it. But for now, I think he'd struggle in there. Obviously, when he gets on it, of course he can
Yeah.
do the business. He
He's
can't
a
get
centre
on
mid
the
and
other
underrated,
side,
doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rio Ferdinand was a centre forward.
Was he?
Sure,
Yes.
Carr was a centre.
So is Ebra.
Like,
Oh, God, so
Lads.
you born you.
Sorry, I was yawning. Pause.
I have no idea what you said.
Sorry, Evra played up top as well. Patrice Evra.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Do you know Patrice Evra, Martial, and Zidane are all from the same? Sorry, not Zidane. Henri are from the same flats.
Did you? I think you said that on the podcast
Yeah.
before.
Bleeding mental eyes. And Martial, Evra, and Henri. Yeah, same flats. Yeah. And it's like Paris. It's crazy. Better wrap this up, Morgan.
Yes, sir.
Will you?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Some good questions. Some interesting questions. I found that we went off topic a bit, but I think that's kind of half the fun. When I'm talking to people about the podcast and stuff, they like when it's not too structured and there's a little bit of flow. So if there's any sort of feedback or queries, please drop them into the comment section on YouTube, or you can direct message us on Instagram or any of our other social media channels. But other than that then, thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can leave a 5-star rating, but you can leave an honest review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And other than that, have a good day.
Yup.
You